Okay, so I know I need to get a cleaner. I'm looking for those scouring pads. Let's see. Not seeing them. No. Alright, which roller should I get? I'm thinking bath and kitchen one. I have to go over it pretty well. I'm gonna get that. I already have another one at home. Now. Okay, so this is our kitchen currently. We have really dark cabinets and a really busy backsplash, and granted, we have not really been fans of any of it since we've moved in, so I'm excited to change it up. And I will show you what the end result looks like shortly. Okay, so these are the 4 things that I used for this project other than just paintbrushes and a paint roller. So this is the primer. It's 123 primer. It's by, it says Bullseye, and I think it's, try to see if I can scratch it off. I think it's Zinger maybe. And then we used Sherwin-Williams Alabaster paint, and I used just a sample. So when you go to Sherwin-Williams and you ask them for a sample, this is what they give you, this size. And it's actually quite a bit of paint, and it did the job. I still have probably at least a third of it left. So, and that's after doing 3 coats on my backsplash. I used this to fill in some of the holes where the caulk was missing or where maybe the grout was kind of worn down. I put this on there, the spackling, and then I painted over it. And then I used this polyacrylic. This is a really small can. It's an 8 ounce, and it had plenty in there for me to use for 3, I believe we did 3 coats of the polyacrylic also. So I used this to finish off the backsplash after I painted. All of these things are very easy to get. This is at Walmart, or you can get it at Lowe's as well. You can get this at Walmart or Lowe's. This is also available at Walmart or Lowe's. And of course this I got at Sherwin-Williams, but really you can use any paint of your choice because this primer will work with any kind of paint. And you don't have to sand with this primer, which I thought was really great. The first thing I did was clean my grout really well. I used soap and water, and I used a Thieves multi-surface cleaner that I use in my kitchen a lot. And a scouring pad. I'm just gonna make sure to spray this on here and get all of the grease that might be behind the stove. After cleaning the grout really well with the degreaser, I went ahead and taped off all of the areas that I didn't want paint to get on. You can, of course, put down a plastic to cover your grout. I wasn't too worried about this because we are going to be changing our countertops out eventually, but I went ahead and taped off all the areas that I didn't want paint to get on. After I taped everything down in the kitchen, I went ahead and used a small foam craft brush to start the primer. I used that brush around the outlets and some of the small areas that were hard to get to, and I used a foam rolling brush for the rest of the backsplash. We did 2 coats of the primer. We let it dry for about an hour to 2 hours in between each coat. Okay, y'all, so we have 2 coats of primer down, and it already looks so much better. So obviously you can see through it because it's primer, but even the counter surfaces look bigger. I just feel like it really opens up this kitchen. All right, 2 coats of primer down. Next up is the paint. I did the same thing with the paint that I did with the primer. I used a foam rolly brush for the majority of the backsplash, and then in the small to reach areas like the outlets and some of the corners, I used a foam craft brush. We ended up doing 3 coats of paint because you could see through it a little bit with just 2 coats. We have some areas in our backsplash that were dark, so I wanted to make sure it was completely covered and it looked like what I was expecting it to look like. I ended up having to use the putty to fill in some of the holes. We had some areas where the caulk had come off or there was a little bit of a separation in the backsplash, and so I filled it with some of that putty, let it dry, and then painted over it. After the paint was good and dry, I went ahead and began putting on the protective finish. We used the Minwax polyacrylic protective finish, and it did not take very much at all, so I was able to get a really small can. I did 3 coats of this. It took about an hour to dry in between each coat, and it also created a little bit of a semi-gloss, which I really liked. After the finish dried, we got to do the satisfying part, taking the tape off. It was nice to get to see all of our hard work come to a finish and see what it looked like once we took the tape off. The last thing I did was take some of my little scraper. I have a scraper that I use for caulking, and I was able to use it to take off the paint that was on some of the granite. It was really easy. This paint is also water-based, so it can come off with soap and water. All right, so it is all done. We put 3 coats of the paint and 3 coats of polyurethane and took the tape off. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy with how it turned out. I can't wait to put some decorations in here. It definitely looks a lot neater, smoother, more modern, not nearly as busy as it was before. Eventually, we are gonna paint the cabinets, but that'll be a later time. Enjoyed that backsplash redo video. It really was so simple to do and very, very affordable. I cannot believe that we literally redid our backsplash for under $35. That's right, guys, under $35. We are absolutely in love with how it turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed it too and found some tips that you can take with you to redo your kitchen. In the comments below, let me know, is there anything else that you guys want to see me do or any other DIYs that you'd like? I'm posting new videos each week, so make sure that you hit the notification bell, you subscribe if you haven't, and like this video. Thank you so much. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time. Bye, guys.